Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your girl in Halloween coming to you once again live. So the time is now 11:49 p.m. I said this is part 2 of my story, my testimony that that I had to go through and endure in 2016. However, it started really in December 2015 when I was just tired and wore out and just didn't want to do anything. At the time, I was taking care of my father, and my father was like, he was blind, so he was kind of in he was on dialysis, so he needed a lot, and so I was taking care of him. I had always promised as a child that when my mother and father get old, I will take care of them. So that's what I did. I had took care of my mother, but she passed 10 days before her birthday in 2010, and then my father passed 9 days after his birthday in 2016. But anyway, so that's what I did. I was taking care of my father, but I was beginning to get weaker and weaker and real tired, just lazy tired, not wanting to do anything, didn't have any energy. And as I think back to that day, those days, it was like the sun was affecting my vision. So I had to take Dad back and forth to dialysis, and I made it. Sometimes I would get my cousin Sharon to get them, or to take them more. So like I said, that was my days, day in and day out. Plus I was going to church, and then sometimes I would be driving or whatever, not knowing where I was going, missing my stops. I would have somebody in the car with me because I love to have people in a car, a person. 9 times out of 10, maybe a sister-in-law or my cousin. That's about it, really. And so we may be going somewhere, and I would say, go past the stop or whatever, and they would say, you missed the stop. I'd be like, well, where we going? Like, I just know I was driving. I just didn't know where I was going. And I didn't understand what was going on. I was just thinking that I was, like, I don't want to say overworked, but overworked, like, and just exhausted, not getting enough rest. So we would eventually get to where we was going, and then I would pick up the telephone and supposed to be calling Joshua, and I would end up calling Joan, and I'd be like, hey, how you doing, da 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 da, and they talking and I'm talking, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't belong talking to you. I'm supposed to be calling Joshua. And that's just a figure of speech, just a name that I threw out there. And that happened several times, and like I said, missing what? Missing turns and all that. But as time, I guess I was beginning to feel like something is going on, and I would say I just need to go to church. I just need to get to church. I got to church because I go to church. Well, back then I was going to church every Sunday. Like, I was in church heavy. And so I would say a prayer, Lord, be the pilot. Allow me to make it to church with no hurt, harm, or danger, to come my way, this and that and this and that. And coming from church, Lord, I need you to be that pilot again. But the thing about it is the church have a long aisle. And so when I walk from the car into the church, in the back of the church, I would just sit down till I get my rest. I was becoming short of breath. I would get my rest, and then once I get my rest, I go to where I normally sit at, which will be the front of the church. And then coming, once service was over, same thing. I get to that designated spot, sit down for like a half hour or whatever, and then, if not longer, to get myself together to make it to the car. That's what I did. And then no matter what I did, I was kind of short of breath, and I was getting my praise on with the Lord, my dance and everything, and I couldn't really do it. Like, I was so short of breath, I was short of breath, but not so short of breath. It was so short of breath than how longer, it took a shorter time for me to become short of breath than normal. So, ripping and running. And my father wasn't doing good, so I said to my father, I was really trying to get my father to go into the hospital or go get seen, so I can go get seen, because I was his caregiver, and I didn't want to leave him in this house by himself. Well, he refused because he wanted to pass on in the house. He felt like this was his house, and so he just passed on in his house. But it didn't happen like that, because the end of December, one of my sister-in-laws talked him into going into the hospital, and so I got him to the hospital, and my brother and I got him to the hospital. My brother had left hours later because he had to go to work the next morning, and I stayed with him, which I always did. But I think now that I look at it, the more and more he got admitted in the hospital, towards the end, I couldn't stay with him. My body had to be laying out in the bed. So once he was admitted, I would just come on home so I can just get some peace, get some rest, and my body to rest. January the 4th of 2016, I woke up, and I just kept 4 o'clock in the morning. As a matter of fact, the Sunday, because that was on the Sunday the 3rd, and I did a dinner for the family, because I normally used to do dinners and have, the family to come together, this and that, and this and that. And I wasn't really eating. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was feeling full or whatever. And so I wasn't really eating. I nibbled on this, and I nibbled on the macaroni and cheese, just really nibbling. And so that night, I'm thinking it was almost 4 o'clock in the morning, just vomiting. Go back and lay down, wake up, maybe an hour later, vomiting. go back, lay down, maybe so long later, vomiting. So I said, I'm going to have to go to the hospital because I was getting weaker and weaker. Well, wait a minute. Let me back up. It was December the 31st. I was so tired, and I wanted to go to church, but the way how I was feeling, I don't even think I could make it. But it's a minister at my church, and he was saying how, everything that God had delivered you from or got you through that year is the last Wednesday of the year or something like last Wednesday of the year Bible study. You need to make it out to church. I said, Lord, because I really wanted to go to church. So I was like, Lord, help me get to the church, be that pilot. And also, when I came back, Lord, be the pilot again and allow me to make it home safe. And so even driving took something out of me. And it all happened all of a sudden. And then on Sunday, I went and the spirit was high and I shouted. But it would take me literally hours to get dressed. For instance, Sunday, I wanted to go to church, but the way how I was feeling, I was like, I can't make it to church. But then the same minister had said, this is the first Sunday of the new year. You need to come and give God his praise or whatever, however he said it. And I said, this was 6 something in the morning. I said, Lord, please give me the strength so I can get up and make it to church and give you your due. And so I got up. I started getting up. Service started at 11:30. I got up. I started, my clothes I was able to get my clothes together or whatever. But I did not make it to church. Remember, it was 6:30 I got up. I'm going to say 6:30. I got up. I still did not make it to church until 12:15. So that's how many hours it took for me to get together. And I couldn't even walk all the way to the front. I had to sit in the back, and I shouted, and I was so out of breath. And so I said, Lord, I need you to get me home. I went to go see my father because he was still in the hospital. And I came back home and I laid in the bed. And that's when I started vomiting. Then I called my partner in crime, Dee, to come and take me to the hospital. About 11 o'clock, I called myself getting ready to get washed and everything. I think I might have started about 7, 8 o'clock, something like that in the morning. And I made it downstairs something to 11, and I still wasn't dressed all the way, because in the midst of me doing whatever that I was doing, trying to get together, I was vomiting and getting weaker and weaker. So by the time I got downstairs, I still needed to put on my pants and my sneakers. So luckily, when I texted him upstairs, all I text was hospital. I couldn't say nothing. I was so I was so sick, y'all. I couldn't say anything. And then it was no response. And then I think I texted him a second time and said something else. I can't remember. And then I called him. And just so happened he was close to my house. Not too far, but close to my house. So he made it to the house. And when he came in, he put my pants on. It's a good thing he had a set of keys. He put my pants on and my sneakers. It was January the 4th. That's my son's birthday. That is my son's birthday. January the 4th. And he helped me in the car. It was cold out there. But I believe I was sweating some or kind of clammy or whatever. And so I didn't have my jacket on. I just wanted to get to the hospital ASAP. And so I made it to the hospital. You know, these hospital rooms, it's great. Not hospital rooms, the waiting rooms, yes. You got to wait so many hours. I think I waited like 5 hours. I was just, oh my God, when I say I was sick, I was never sick like that. So, they finally get me in the back and they started running tests on me. And, the doctor, I've seen so many doctors and had so many tests done, but, one doctor came in and said, oh, your sugar is so high. It was over 400 or whatever, but it wouldn't come down. And I can't remember what my pressure was. So, then he was running tests and everything. Running tests. And then, it's like, oh, your pancreas is infected. Your pancreas, yeah, is infected. I said, I couldn't talk. That's how sick I was. And then later, maybe an hour or so later, they came back and said, oh, your gallbladder is inflamed. I said, again, I couldn't talk. Just do whatever you got to do to get me to feel better. Came back and said, oh, you have DKA. That's acid in your blood for the people with diabetes. I said, I didn't know what it was. He said, well, it seemed like you're going to be staying with us for a few days. Came back and said, oh, we believe, because I had either a CAT scan or an MRI, I can't remember. Oh, we see a tumor in your gallbladder. I didn't know what they was talking about. Just sick, being sick on your stomach and everything. So I said, we're going to have to bring you in the hospital. And so, let me see. And then, did I say infection? I think I did say about the infection. But, yeah. I'm looking down because I had to write this stuff down. So they told me that I was going to have to come in the hospital. I'm going to have to be put in ICU. And that's what I did. I was in ICU for 7 days. I couldn't do nothing for myself. Needed help with everything. Then from ICU, that's when they discovered to let me know that I was going to need surgery. They called it emergency surgery. But they couldn't touch me for a week. So I went in on the 4th, and then I was told about 13. Oh my. So I had to be in the hospital for probably 2 days or whatever, and that's when they said that I needed the surgery. But I had to wait a week. So the antibiotics will do whatever to this gallbladder with the tumor. And then, so the week went past. I had the surgery. I was supposed to have been in the OR for, I think it was like 2.5 hours, but I was in there a little bit over 5 hours. And when I came from the OR, I ended up in medical ICU, I believe. Or I went back to ICU for a day or two or something, and then I went to medical ICU for another week. And then after that week, I ended up on surgical ICU. And long story short, I was diagnosed with gallbladder cancer. And the type of gallbladder cancer is not known in the United States. Was back in 2016. It wasn't too well known in the United States. I was told by the radiologist, the radiologist, he said that, I believe it was, the radiologist, he said that in the United States, only receive 3,500 cases per year about gallbladder cancer. But it's well known in Asia, North America, and South America, I believe. So I took that 3,500 and divided it by the states, and it turned out to be 70 at around about 70 people per state ends up with this gallbladder cancer. But over there in Asia and North America, South America, it is well known. So they had to do some investigating or whatever to see what they needed to do to me. But they didn't know. They didn't know if I was going to make it. They had a conversation with my family, with my brother and my sister-in-law, and the doctor, just broke down. I recently found out just last week before last, and the doctor had said to my family, first of all, he asked questions about me. Have I been forgetting things? Have I been moody? Just different things. And my sister's like, yeah, she been forgetting things, like, she'll call me and then she'll say, I'm not supposed to be talking to you. And she would hang up, and then one minute she okay, next minute her attitude changed, this and that, and this and that. Do she act like she was good? Yeah, she be confused. We could be driving in the car and then she'll forget where she's supposed to be going, and I have to remind her this and that, and this and that. He said, okay, because she was diagnosed with DKA, that, like I stated earlier, is with diabetes. And he said the reason why I was acting like that, and I love my surgeon, I love him. My whole team, I just love, and I still do love them, and I thank God for them. He said the reason why I was acting like that because it was the blood, it was the acid in my blood, and it was messing with my brain. It had worked its way to my brain, so all the confusion and on the mood swings and everything and forgetting things, it was the acid in my blood from my diabetes being high. And so I was on the drip for I don't know how long, and then eventually my diabetes decided they removed the drip probably, I don't know, well over a week, because they couldn't understand why the diabetes wasn't coming down. So I had the surgery, and I was supposed to have been in the hospital for I might as well say 4 weeks, over a month. But I was in there just shy of 3 weeks. I normally say 3 weeks, but actually it was 19 days. And the doctors couldn't understand why I was healing so much. And as a matter of fact, they even told my family that rather this type of cancer, rather I have the surgery or not, they didn't know if I would make it. So, but I had a dream that I was going to make it. And this was even before I even found out that I was going to have the surgery. And that's what I held on to, the dream. And so, but it was nothing but the grace of God. Like, God kept me, and I thank Him for it. Trusting and believing in God, and just by having that mustard seed of faith takes you a long, long way. So I didn't just get on here to tell anyone, just to tell you my story. I got on here to encourage someone that although the situation don't look good, if you hold on and believe and have faith, you can and you will pull through. But you got to have that relationship with God, and you got to have that faith. You got to have that faith, and you have to believe in God. So whoever your God may be, you have to. So like I said, I didn't just get on here to just tell you my business. This is just to encourage someone that may be going through something similar, or know someone that's going through something similar. Now, once they sent the gallbladder and everything, the tumor, to the lab, it came back that I had cancer. But once I went into the OR, and when I came out of the OR, I was cancer free. But since that's a nasty cancer from them doing their research and everything, I had to go through chemo and I had to go through radiation. Yes, I did, and I survived. That's why I say today is my 2nd year anniversary, and I thank God for Him allowing me to see today. And I pray that He allow me to see many, 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 many more. So, I think I had said enough, or I had expressed everything that I wanted to share. So again, I'm going to thank everyone for watching, coming to this channel, and just listening to me talk, give my testimony, and encourage someone. Don't give up. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. So I'm asking everyone to like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below. Please share this video, just if it's just to encourage someone else. Please share this video. And thank you to all my new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please press that subscribe button and comment below. I'll come back to your channel. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Peace. Be blessed. I'm gone. Love you guys. Have that faith the size of a mustard seed. God bless you.